Hey guys, I'm Jessica. I am an independent consultant with Arbonne, and I am here with my friend Anna, who's over in Chattanooga. I'm over in Greenville, South Carolina. So part of what we do is kind of cool how we can kind of zoom in like this and speak with each other. But basically tonight we just wanted to both hop on. And Anna was so awesome to step in and be able to share her story because we wanted to talk to you about our experience with the Arbonne 30-day detox, or you can do a 10-day, whichever option you are currently looking for, or maybe you've already are in the process of doing it. But we just kind of wanted to share with you, or she really wanted to share with you tonight, her story and her journey through the process and how it's helped her with current health issues that she was experiencing. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Anna.
Thank you. So there's a ton of different reasons as to why I decided to dive into an Arbonne detox. And a lot of times you'll see consultants kind of post like, if you're experiencing this or this or this. And there's a point in my life where I was experiencing like 10 of the things on the list. And I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. But I will say that one of the number one reasons that I decided to do an Arbonne detox was because when I was 15, I was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. I think there's a lot of different ways that can affect you as an individual. But for me personally, every time I was eating, I was heading straight to the bathroom, very painful, lasted a couple hours. And so I got medicated when I was 15. And so I took medication from the time that I was diagnosed until my senior year of college. So I don't know, that's like 7 or 8 years that I was literally taking medication for it. And after I graduated from Swanee, actually before I graduated from Swanee, I was having the worst, I don't know what you would call it, but if we're just going to be frank, I was passing a lot of gas my senior year. And when I look back on my senior year, I got to a point where I just didn't really care what I was putting into my body or what I was choosing to indulge in. And so I was drinking a lot of beer, so it's a lot of gluten, and I was eating a lot of like high dairy percentage when it came to my food. So cheeseburgers, cheesecake, fried Oreos, like anything you can think of that had dairy in it, I was putting it into my body. And I was just like, you know what? I'm a senior. Like, I'm not doing anything but working on a ranch this summer. No one's going to care what my body looks like whatever. But I had really bad gas because of that, to the point where like one time I cleared a whole entire room at a party because of my gas. And while it's funny, I was so humiliated because I couldn't go on dates. I couldn't hang out with my friends. All my roommates were noticing it. And on average, a human is allowed to pass, I think you pass gas like 15 times a day on average. I was passing it like anywhere between 30 and 40 times a day. And so I knew something was completely off with my system. So I graduated, moved straight to Wyoming within 3 days of graduation, and I lived on a ranch for 4 months. And it was so great. Best experience of my life. 86 college students in the middle of nowhere, just paradise. However, when you're looking to feed 86 college students, what you fix, it's easier to fix, unhealthy foods than it is to fix, a lot of really great fiber and fresh fruits. So I was eating cheese nachos, like cheese steak fries, lots and lots of potatoes, French fries this, French fries that, pasta this, pasta that, a lot of carbs, a lot of processed foods. And they were keeping me full, but they weren't fueling my energy levels. And then about halfway through the summer, not only did my irritable bowel syndrome literally spike, but I started to break out a lot. And so I started to think maybe my irritable bowel syndrome is related to my acne, or maybe my acne is related to my gut health. There were all these thoughts. I didn't know really what the cure was. And my medications that I was taking for irritable bowel syndrome, I wasn't taking them consistently, and so therefore they weren't working. But also when I would take them consistently, I wasn't seeing a reaction or like a change from that. So I decided to invest in my health, because it is so easy for us, especially as women, to invest hundreds of dollars in shoes, in fashion, in clothes, in bedding. Like, I literally spend so much money on pillows for my bed. Like, that's odd, but like, you choose to have some kind of, something that you invest in that you love to do with your extra time and your extra money. But how often do we take a step back and say, I'm going to invest in my health, and I'm going to invest in things that are going to make a difference in my life. And that's kind of the point that I came to. If I did not change the way I was living, my future was going to be very detrimental. So I invested, I took the leap of faith, and I did an Arbonne detox. And the results that I had.
How did you get introduced to Arbonne? Like, how did that detox get presented to you?
So I graduated from Swanee, which is very like Arbonne savvy. So Gabby Spannenberg, I love watching her Instagram videos, but she talked so much about health and what it could do for you. And my best friend in college and my roommate, Yen Agmentine, she was a consultant for 3 years at Swanee. So our sophomore, junior, and senior year, I would watch her use the products and, promote or market them. And I was so naive, and I would always just talk really negatively about it and say, I'm never going to spend that kind of money. I'm never going to invest in that. Like, I can go get it at Walgreens for $5 or, whatever excuse I had. So I had these two amazing, very inspirational women who were kind of putting it in my face every day. And I think after a while, when you start to see that other people's lives are changing from a product, it kind of sets something off in your mind. And that's what happened to me. I was having so many struggles with my health that finally I was like, maybe I should listen. Like, maybe I should take my blinders off and just give it a shot. And I didn't really have anything to lose because none of my medication was working. My acne wasn't clearing up. I was gaining weight, even though I was exercising. There were so many things happening. And so that's kind of how I started to learn about Arbonne. And so I reached out to Gabby, and she connected me to Yen. So Yen's my best friend. It would have been a no-brainer just to connect to Yen. But sometimes it's easier just to reach out to someone who, has a lot of experience. And so once I had talked to both of them and kind of decided I was, all in, that's kind of when everything started changing for me personally.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's crazy that just kind of came out of nowhere at 15. Like, everything was just fine. And that's so young, too, because you feel like a lot of people, I know, like, through some research that I had seen, tends to, like, be diagnosed a little bit later in life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a struggle to be going through the rest of high school and college.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel like you finally had your mindset, like, even though you've been watching Gabby and Yin and their success in the business, I truly believe also that it's a mindset thing. So it really hit you at the right time, and you're kind of like at that point where you're like, all right, this is like, I'm over this shit, like, literally.
Literally. Well, because when you're 15, you don't really think, I mean, for the most part, you have a great metabolism, you're skinny, you're having fun. You don't think about the future and how it's affecting you internally. I mean, it's crazy how I was diagnosed. I was actually on a flight to go visit a friend who lived in a different state, and I almost missed my flight because I'd been in the bathroom for so long. And I landed, and it happened all over again. And so when you're 15, like I said, you don't really understand why those things are occurring. You get medicated, whatever, you take your medication, everything's fine. But yeah, it wasn't until I was 23 when I realized, like, something is really wrong with me internally. And my doctors, I give them so much credit because what they do is really phenomenal, but no one ever told me that, like, gut health is really, really important until I started following Arbonne. And so it's just crazy that this company is able to make an impact on people's lives by just sharing really simple facts about health.
Absolutely. So now, did you jump in when you did the detox? Did you jump in with the 10-day or the 30-day?
So I purchased a 30-day, but I split it into 3 different 10 days.
Nice. Okay. Yep. There's so many different options you can do it. And
so now, many different
options. Tell me a little bit about your experience and, like, when it started seeing an impact on your health, if it made an impact on your health.
Yeah, so the first couple of days, I started on a Monday, and I would say the first 4 or 5 days of my detox, I was passing so much gas. I was like, this is not helping. This is making everything 10 times worse. But when you read the products and you study the ingredients, you actually learn that what it's doing is literally just cleansing all the toxins and acidic substances, all the crud that has been sitting in your gut for God knows how long. It's just cleansing and pushing all that out. By the time I got to my 6th day, I was not passing gas, and I had very, like, regular bowel movements. And to me, that says a lot because mine were so sporadic and all over the place. And as I started cleaning my gut out, I started using the restroom regularly. I did not have pain when I was using these products. So if I were to eat, Mexican food, which I love, if I were to go eat tortilla chips and queso, I would be sick the rest of the night. And with Arbonne, it teaches you how to still eat pretty similarly to how you were, but just to do it in a healthy way. And so by eliminating, dairy, I figured out I was lactose intolerant, which probably had a lot to do with my irritable bowel syndrome growing up. And when I eliminated dairy, I didn't have my irritable bowel syndrome pain any longer. And then also all my acne cleared up. So everything in some sort of fashion was related to each other. So my acne was related to my gut health. My gut health and the pain that I was feeling from my irritable bowel syndrome was, connected to what I was putting inside my body. And so I was just feeding it all this really nasty stuff. And our bodies are so beautifully made because they're just built to fight off infection and foreign invaders. And after so long, my lactase, I think, enzymes weren't able to do their job because I was lactose intolerant, but I didn't know that until I had completely eliminated it. So that's kind of, and all the products have helped in a different way, but the whole entire detox, together, is really what I think has truly eliminated all of those issues that I had internally.
That's so awesome. And by the 6th day, a lot of people don't believe that you can see results so quickly.
Yeah. It's, and it's hard to explain that to someone who's never experienced it or who might be kind of fearful or hesitant. But on day 4, I was literally like, I'm about to throw the towel in and call it quits and get a refund. But I chose to continue seeking it out to see the end goal. And I kid you not, 6th or 7th day, symptoms had cleared up. And now I live that lifestyle almost 24/7. And so I am not reliant. I do not take medication anymore. And I haven't since July-ish. I don't have to use, Proactive or Accutane. Or really any of the products that I was using that the chemicals were so harsh on my skin. I don't have to use that anymore. And I feel so confident, going on a date or going on a plane ride. I don't have to go to the bathroom or hide when I have people come over to my house. And for the first time in my whole entire life, I have felt confident in myself without makeup on. And that says a lot because I used to not leave the house without it. And so I feel great on the inside and I feel great on the outside. And I think that's what Arbonne really promotes, is that you are living healthy from the inside out. And so I can't praise it enough. But yeah, the results that you see that fast are incredible. And I don't think you see that in very many places. So.
Yay. And now I know everyone's probably thinking, watching this, especially if there anybody out there that does have IBS. So how did you make that transition? So you did the 10 days, and then once you went off of it, people might be thinking, oh, but it's just going to come back. Is that where you learned what you wasn't sitting well with your body, and that's how you were able to continue with some of the whole foods, even if you're not using the products anymore?
Yeah. So as soon as my first 10-day detox ended, I didn't even crave cheese, sugar, caffeine. I didn't crave the things that I normally did that were causing my pain. It's almost like my body was thanking me for not putting that inside of my body. Yeah. And so it didn't allow me to really crave things. I will also say that, and you know this too, because you're an Arbonne consultant, but the people who sponsor you, the people who walk you through the detox, they also teach you after the detox how to slowly start putting things back into your body so that you can see what it is that's affecting it. For me, I did my first one after Halloween, and Thanksgiving was right around the corner. And so I was super, super nervous going into Thanksgiving because I was like, my favorite food is stuffing and dressing and, this and that. And I learned quickly that when you put even small amounts, so after the detox, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to bring the stuff back in, but just in really small quantities. Even those small quantities affected me. And so take it, you take it kind of a step at a time and whatever rate you want to as an individual. But for me, I just took it slow. And, Gabby and Yen had kind of preached, don't overindulge right after a detox. Take it slow. Allow your body time to kind of decompress and come back to its full self. And I learned really quickly, that gluten affects me, that dairy still affects me. I don't really eat a lot of soy and whey in general, but all of those products in some way alter your body. And some people not as much, but for me personally, going forward, I have probably, I want to say 90% of my, I don't know how to say this. I don't really eat dairy anymore unless I go to the Cheesecake Factory and need a piece of cheesecake, or unless my mom's made some kind of dessert and I feel like I have to have it. I try to steer clear of dairy. I love it. Cheese is my favorite thing, but I really care about my body, and I really care about you. What?
I said, I don't blame you. It doesn't seem like it's worth the pain or the struggle.
Exactly. And it's different for everyone, but so many people that I have watched and coached through detoxes after doing mine kind of come out with the same mindset. They know what affects their body, and they know kind of what they need, I guess, at this point. So they don't have the desire for a lot of sweets or a lot of dairy, a lot of gluten. And it's hard. I mean, not every day is easy. If I see a brownie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need that brownie. But it's okay sometimes to indulge. I think some people have that mindset, I can't, indulge. I have to completely eliminate all this. But it's okay to treat yourself, and that's what I preach to myself, and I preach to anyone who's doing the detox. There's no such thing as a cheat day. And as soon as you convince yourself that you cheated, you're actually the one losing, because the beauty in Arbonne is that it's not a diet. It's not a fad. It's not a deprivation. It's just you on your own time learning what works for your body and what doesn't. And now that I know what works for it, my everyday life is cheaper. One, it actually is cheaper. And then two, it's just, I feel so energetic. I feel I just feel fresh and clean when I look at my face in the mornings. There's no pressure to pop something, and I can literally eat anything with anyone. And I just have confidence that I'm not going to be running to the bathroom in 10 minutes. So that's just kind of my tidbit about everything. And I could talk about it for hours, but I'm so happy that you had me on here tonight, because I think it's really important to share with people. And whether they're thinking about doing a detox or they've 100% signed up to do it, I feel like people deserve to know how amazing the results are when you give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, and your story is so powerful, and I think it's so inspiring to other people watching, especially if they're in that same boat where, I mean, it's crazy, like you said, that doctors, they mean well, but they're so quick to prescribe medicine. And the medicine, and that can only do so much. So a lot of people, you're not the first one to tell me that they're like, my doctor never spoke to me about nutrition. So I think this story is going to help a lot of other people, and I really appreciate you being on here. So we don't hold up any more time of yours tonight or anybody watching, but what would you like to leave anybody watching this video? How do you think that, maybe a little bit of why you think that this program could be so beneficial for them if they are experiencing IBS or similar symptoms, but they're kind of on the fence of doing the program? What would you say to them?
Honestly, you deserve to feel your best, and you deserve to live your life at its fullest, and you shouldn't let anything hold you back from that, whether it's, a physical item, a person, or what you're putting into your body food-wise. And there's just so much value in health that society doesn't really emphasize. And if anyone is interested in this, if anyone is thinking about it, if you're on the fence, just take that jump, just take that leap, because you have nothing to lose. And tomorrow could literally start the rest of your life. Everything that you've been insecure about, or that you've had to be medicated for, or go to a doctor and awkwardly explain what you're experiencing, you don't have to worry about that anymore. And this is something that has changed millions of people's lives. And it's just that leap of faith. If you can take it, your life can literally be changed from the inside out. So,
yeah. I love that. Well, I'm so happy that we were able to have you tonight and be able to share your story. I know you were very blunt with how it went down and very open. So that could it could be a very vulnerable time, but I think it's so much appreciated.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me.
Yes,
Seriously, I love sharing. So
yes. I'm so excited. All right. Well, for anybody that's watching, if your consultant had sent you this video, it means that they truly care about you and they think that this program is beneficial. So they will be reaching out to you. And if this was not sent to you by a consultant and you came across it, feel free to reach out to Anna and I. We will all post both of our Instagram accounts in the comments. And I hope everyone has a great night. All right. Take care.
thank you. Bye.